Hello, Chimochokma. My name is Shachila Yona, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And if you're new here, what's up? My channel is Everything Origini, aka Original American. I discuss indigenous history, cultures, and topics relating to indigenous people. And today we will talk about melanin and eumelanin. This video was requested a while back, and I have been meaning to do it, and now I can finally bring this video to the public. Thank you guys so much for being patient with me delivering content because balancing life can be very challenging for me at times. So I appreciate y'all guys so much. I appreciate the support from all my darlings out here. I see y'all and I love y'all. Good vibes only, okay? In this video, I will not thoroughly explain melanin because I don't want to go into a rabbit hole of explaining scientific terms relating to melanin. So I want to keep this as short and straightforward as possible. Furthermore, let's discuss the scientific view of melanin and eumelanin and what they are. I see people use the term melanin out of context all the time, and I would like to say my piece about this once and for all. According to a book titled Biochemistry, Melanin on the National Library of Medicine website says, and I quote, melanin is a term used to describe a large group of related molecules responsible for many biological functions, including pigmentation of skin and hair, and photoprotection of skin and eye. In other words, melanin protects our skin from UV light and determines a person's skin color. For those that don't know what photoprotection is, it is the biochemical process that helps organisms cope with molecular damage caused by sunlight. The book goes on to say, quote, in humans, melanin exists in three forms: eumelanin, which is subdivided further into black and brown forms, pheomelanin, and neuromelanin, end quote. The amount of melanin in the skin will vary from person to person. This is because genetics play a dominant role in how much melanin is in a person's skin. First and foremost, let's discuss the elephant in the room regarding the topic of melanin. There is a very incorrect insertion that not everyone has melanin, which is far from the truth. There is talk that pale skinned Europeans do not have melanin, which is also untrue. In my opinion, the article Why Do People Have Different Skin Colors by Ishan on Science ABC states what most people overlook when it comes to melanin. It says, and I quote, we must first understand the basic science behind our skin. First of all, there is no such thing as black, white, red, or yellow in terms of skin color. There are simply mixtures of colors and variations depending on your genetic makeup. For example, someone with very dark skin would primarily produce eumelanin, while pale skinned Europeans might produce a majority of pheomelanin. End quote. The color of your skin, hair, and eyes comes from a unique mix of eumelanin and pheomelanin. Usually, everyone has the same number of melanocytes. However, these melanocytes make different amounts of melanin. People with more melanin have darker skin, eyes, and hair than those with less melanin. Freckles are also present in people who are born with clusters of melanocytes. Now, referring back to the source biochemistry, melanin, I mentioned earlier, the book talks about how pigmentation in the physical body works, saying, and I quote, pigmentation of the skin results from the accumulation of melanin containing melanosomes in the basal layer of the epidermis. Differences in skin pigmentation result both from the relative ratio of eumelanin brown black to pheomelanin yellow red, as well as the number of melanosomes within melanocytes. Pheomelanin accounts for the pinkish skin constituting the lips, nipples, vajayjay, and the glands of the, well, down there. In general, lightly pigmented skin tends to contain melanocytes with clusters of two or three melanosomes, whereas darkly pigmented skin tends to contain individual melanosomes, which contain melanized neighboring keratinocytes more readily. The overall melanin density correlates with the darkness of skin as well as the Fitzpatrick skin type. End quote. While eumelanin and pheomelanin control the colors of the things you see, such as skin, hair, and eyes, neuromelanin is responsible for the color of your neurons. When I talk about eumelanated American Indians, some people rush to the comment section to say we are neuromelanin, which I find cute, but it is used out of context. Neuromelanin is a dark colored pigment that is found in areas of the brain. Neuromelanin abnormalities are associated with neurodegenerative diseases such as Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. Referring back to the source biochemistry melanin, it also states, and I quote, eumelanin and pheomelanin are produced in various amounts in the basal layer of the epidermis within cells called melanocytes. Melanocytes are the mature forms of melanoblasts, which migrate from the neural crest following neural tube closure. As melanin is produced within melanocytes, it is packaged in small, round, membrane bound organelles called melanosomes. Melanosomes are transported from melanocytes to neighboring keratinocytes via tentacle like dendritic processes. Melanosomes arriving in keratinocytes are positioned superficially to cell nuclei, which serves to protect from incoming ultraviolet radiation. End quote. To add to the statement, I will mention information about a study called Photoprotection by Melanin, a comparison of Black and Caucasian skin. This study also states, and I quote, melanin acts as a neutral density filter, reducing all wavelengths of light equally. The superior photoprotection of Black epidermis is due not only to melanin content, but also to other factors related to packaging and distribution of melanosomes. End quote. In other words, the ratio of eumelanin to pheomelanin and the number of melanocytes make each person's skin color different and protects your skin from UV radiation. According to the Cleveland Clinic website, quote, melanin provides protection against reactive oxygen species, ROS. Reactive oxygen species are byproducts of your body's cell processes. When ROS accumulate in your cells, they can lead to stress, premature aging, and health concerns such as diabetes and cancer. Melanin scavenges for ROS, boosting antioxidants and eliminating free radicals. End quote. This means melanocytes produce melanin through the oxidative process of melanogenesis, which also generates ROS. Antioxidants can alleviate oxidative stress and reduce cellular damage. Melanin is super essential for the survival of any person, and I can see why people see melanin as a superpower. Some people can't enjoy the sun without their skin boiling. However, everyone has melanin. Not everyone has large amounts of melanin, but they still have melanin and melanosomes. The size, number, shape, and distribution of melanosomes and their chemical nature, aka level of activity, determine the color of skin. Some argue that because American Indians and so called Black people can have pheomelanin and eumelanin traits, the only appropriate terms for them are melanin or melanated. But as I stated before, everyone has melanin. And not to mention, it is a broad term to describe people. Nonetheless, American Indians and so called Blacks have always been known for our dark skin color. People don't know that eumelanin, the pigment that gives dark skin its rich color, protects you in ways that pheomelanin cannot. Medical news today states that, and I quote, eumelanin protects the skin from UV light, whereas pheomelanin does not. As a result, people with more pheomelanin, such as those with blonde or red hair and light skin, are more likely to experience sun damage. End quote. This is consistent with what is shown in the Merriam-Webster dictionary about the term eumelanin. The definition of eumelanin says, and I quote, a brown to black pigment that is the most common form of melanin and whose functions include protecting the epidermis against damage from ultraviolet radiation. End quote. As the dictionary states, eumelanin is the most common form of melanin. So let's face it, when eumelanated people say they are melanated and pale skinned Europeans don't have melanin, they are referring to their lack of eumelanin. But of course, Europeans have melanin too. So you may want to retire the phrase melanin Monroe because even Marilyn Monroe had melanin. However, she didn't have high levels of eumelanin in her skin. As melanated indigenous Americans, we must educate ourselves on the words constantly being spread around our communities. I don't care for English terms in general. I 1000 think melanated indigenous Americans should have autonomy over what we identify and call ourselves in our native tongue, not European languages, but of our own. However, I know many people are not ready to let go of foreign terms and ideologies as the term Indian is in our treaties. But if we continue to identify with colonizer terms, we should better understand them and use them correctly. Remember, nobody has true black, white, red, or yellow skin tones. These are commonly used color terms that do not reflect biological reality. Not only do they not reflect biological reality, but black and white also are not colors. They are shades. People use black, white, melanin, and melanated to show superiority over one another. I say you melanin to identify myself and those in the same demographic as me and who have the same phenotype as me. I can't and won't identify with pheomelanin people because I don't have high levels of pheomelanin. And to be honest, the term eumelanin exposes how people view color. As indigenous American Indians, our people were described as brown, copper colored, mahogany, cinnamon, etc. What are those colors? Variations of brown, obviously, right? We as American Indians are known for our eumelated skin. People can argue about who is not melanated and who is, but according to these scientists y'all got this word from, everyone has melanin, but not everyone has high levels of eumelanin. I want to continue to go on a rant about this, but I will have to save this for the part two video. Anyway, that's all I have to say about this topic for now. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and click the all notifications bell button to get notified when I go live or when I post a new video. Thanks for watching, and until the next time, bye!